My name is Douglas A. Copeland, and currently I'm serving as chair of the Public Defender Commission.
Betty Pace, attorney at law.
I'm Cynthia Cordes, and I'm a partner at Husch Blackwell.
Jim Sharp practiced in Springfield, and Sharp and Bredesen was the law firm that he was with his law partner, Sharp Bredesen.
It really began early in the year 2005 when actually I was president-elect of the Missouri Bar. We found a national firm that was well-versed in this kind of activity and public defender issues and asked them to come in and at least do a preliminary analysis of what was going on in our system. And what they discovered was it was a system in crisis. The workload was such that the folks that were doing the work could not do it responsibly and could not do it competently up to the standards that's required by the Constitution or the standards that are required by our ethical codes. So that kind of began the process. We've created awareness of the situation, and I think especially proud in the last couple of years that we've really been with help from the ABA and some folks like Steve Hanlon and Reuben Brown accounting firm have really been some leaders in this area in the United States and for all the public defender systems in the United States. We are the first statewide public defender system that has finally decided we're going to keep time. We are now armed with better data that allows us to substantiate what we've been saying for quite some time, that we've got more work than we can handle. We love the work, people are dedicated to doing it, but we've got to do it right.
I think the best case, if I can just give you one, the grandparents had the child literally picked him up in Florida at birth, and he had been with them and he was 12 or 13, but they had never been able to afford the adoption. His mother would show up periodically and say things like, I'm going to come and get you tomorrow because your grandparents don't have any legal right to you and I can just pick you up and you'll never see him again. And this would cause the child to go into a tailspin because he was terrified. So legal services agreed to allow me to represent him through their services. And the best fee in 37 years of practice as of this May was seeing a child when the judge announced he had been adopted, literally jumping up and down like a 3-year-old, hopping to the bench with a grin from ear to ear, and fist pumping into the air because he was so happy. It was like I saw a child having Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthday, Valentine's Day rolled into one because his grandparents were now his legal parents.
When I was at the U.S. Attorney's Office, we launched and led a human trafficking task force prosecuting human trafficking cases. And as a part of prosecuting those cases, I saw in every single one of my cases that there were legal needs that the victims had that were not being met. When I transitioned to the private sector and began at Husch Blackwell, and having the background doing human trafficking was the perfect segue to offer legal services to victims that had legal issues that were not being met. And so we provided training at the firm, and we now have over 40 different partners and associates that have volunteered to be a part of our human trafficking pro bono clinic. And we provide services for the full spectrum of human trafficking victims, international victims, domestic victims, adults, children, male and female. Human trafficking victims truly are the meek and weak of the world. And at the time they have been rescued and are beginning their rehabilitation process, they're very, very vulnerable. And to be able to assist them with the issues that they need most at that point in their life is very fulfilling.
Jim was not only a very professional man, he was a very caring man, and we all miss him very much. And he started doing cases with legal services back in 1988, and has always been very active with legal services and helping people. Over that time, he helped about 30 adults and 40 children. In the year of 2013, he helped 11 adults and 13 children. And these were not just simple cases. Many of them were very complex family law cases or guardianships in probate, both adult and minor guardianship cases.
I can remember a conversation I had with my father shortly after I became a lawyer, and unfortunately I was kind of whining. You know, people would come up to you in church and at the grocery store and be asking you questions and whatnot, and I was kind of whining to my dad, and I said, gosh, I wish these people just leave me alone. You know, if they want legal advice, they want help, call me at the office, because that's, you know, that's my time to work and this is my other time. And he just kind of looked at me and he said, no, this is your obligation. You're a lawyer now, you're in a profession, and that's part of the deal. That's just part of what you're supposed to do. And he's right. He's right. It is our obligation. And the other part of that, I guess the deeper part of that I've learned as I've keep remembering that and keep trying to do that, is it's not only our obligation, it's our privilege. It's what feeds our soul, really.
I think you have to remember the clients we sometimes help through legal services are not going to be your A-list clients. And what I mean by that is not that they're not good people. Their life has taught them that life is mean and life is tough. As an attorney, you have to remember that you aren't going to be presented with someone who functions perhaps at a normal level. But can you move them, maybe not from having a job as a CEO, but can you move them so that they can be healthy members of society? So find in your inner soul, wherever it is, what makes you feel good. Is it the environment? Is it family life? Is it faith? You need to find what it is that makes you happy, and then do your best in that area of pro bono law, because it fills your soul and not your pocketbook.
You know, I think it's harder if everybody just says, well, go pick a pro bono project. I think you first start out with something that's near and dear to you, and then after you've identified that, then you figure out how to use your legal degree to assist that part of the community.
I think Jim would feel that not only is it part of our duty to do pro bono, it's a real gift that only attorneys can give, is their time and their expertise in the courtroom for those who cannot afford to retain private counsel. And I think that he would feel that that is a gift that we should never forget to share, that we all got where we are because people helped us along the way. And sometimes that's all an indigent or elderly person needs, is just a little help along the way. And I think that would be Jim's advice.